And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing FortressCraft Evolved. Well, I think it's high time we automate the feeding of the hive. Now, unfortunately, I'm actually able to mine this thing so fast that it really doesn't have a chance to fully encase itself. So this could go on for quite some time. I'll show you why in a little bit. First, I'm going to need an ore extractor, and I'm going to want to put that ore extractor up right away so it gets out of my inventory. And then I'm going to want some drills. So let's just drill this out here. I'm not worried about efficiency per se. I actually don't know how much this is, but even if it's 100,000, I'm going to be getting 10,000 out of that, and feeding a hive 10,000 is not wise to do in one little bunch, so it's going to kind of trickle in. And so we're going to have this one come out like this. And let's see how we're going to line this up. I think this will work. Let's first line it up with some power. And we're going to beam it basically right off of this battery through this. And then we're going to have it come down. So let's line this up here all the way down. Oh, it lines right up with the lights. So all these torches I have here, this is where the beam will come down. So I want to put a hopper right here. Now, on second thought, we're going to put it right there, because these are going to come out and in. These are going to come in, except for that one, which is lined up with the lights. So right here, we're going to have a motorized conveyor. So let's see. I don't need that on my hotbar right now. So that's going to be the motorized conveyor, and we are 2 out from here. So I'm going to go up this way and see where I line up. It's going to be kind of hard to see at first. I keep hitting shift to run. That's a 7 days to die thing. Okay, let's see how many blocks this is. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21 blocks. And then the magic. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get some more light up in here. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then what we need. I think it was 21. So this is going to beam directly down into this, and essentially as soon as this power beam can go through, it's going to beam power, it's going to hit this, beam power down there, and spit out a few blocks, and it's going to spit them out until it's blocked again, which it'll then stop eventually because it'll run out of power, because it uses, I believe, 10 power per item. So this lines up just perfectly with that. So the mine itself, everything up to the Minox I already have spawned over here is all fine. So this will pull ore quite quickly and fill these up, and it's actually doing something. Why is this? Okay, this should not. This should not be outputting. I don't know if Tricky's hoppers do that or what, but that should not output without power. So that's an interesting side effect. Where is the copper I picked up? There it is. So now it's not. Okay, that must have been a side effect of Tricky's hoppers. Because I've noticed when this thing is not encased, it doesn't grow. So when it's trying to encase itself, like it is right now, it won't grow no matter how much you feed it. Now, what happens after it's, done encasing itself? I don't know if it just like explodes out and just goes nuts. I'm kind of afraid to test it, but we will see. One way of doing that would be to kind of cut off the power supply to the extremities. That way it can't mine very fast. Once these die, these should pretty much drain pretty quickly here, just because these things use a lot of power. Oh, they use a lot of power. So these will stop mining so much. Oh, don't fall in there. Okay. So with those not mining so much, it will have a chance to encase itself. See how it's trying to put blocks around? Somehow it's still able to do it, even though those should be out of power completely. So let's give it just a second here, see if it stops encasing and starts to go away. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is these things stop, because they'll sit on a block and they won't actually finish it because they don't have enough power to. Now, is it broken? See, this thing, it's not actually doing anything, and it should stop. And once it stops sort of encasing itself, the trick to that is seeing it. See, this is going to be using all of its power out of here because I blocked it over here. Yeah, see, it's still encasing itself. It's crazy how fast I'm pulling resin out of these. So I'll show you. We have the capacity of pushing 20,000 power per second down here, which is great because our system actually uses just about exactly that. So I doubled the amount of turbines that we have. So you can see we now have a bank of 40 turbines pushing power, which is almost exactly 20,000 power per second. It's a little shy of that. So that is kind of where we're at here. These are starting to move. I did add a big hopper here just because we're automating this, so I want to be able to save up quite a lot. So let's see. The power per second here is way down. So once this thing starts getting eaten away, that's when we'll know. I really wish... Yeah, it's still adding blocks. It is crazy. So this is out of power. This one up here should be close to running out of power. Yep, look at that, 17,000 power. So once this one runs out of power, I'm basically not pulling anything out of there anymore. And this one should then make some headway on this side. And once we're encased and it kind of stops that process, you can see it's almost done. We've got a few blocks in here. Oh, there we go. Yep, it does. Once it's done encasing itself, whatever you feed it comes into play and it starts growing. So that is good to know, because it, you know, I fed it a few blocks here, so we're growing little tendrils here and there. So that means the encasement is done. I can take that power, put it back into the system. And now the system will really jumpstart. Pushing a ton of power back here, and even more down. So let's go up here. Oh. I should make that ledge a little bigger. So now we're pushing power in. This little bank right below me is actually probably the best bet at clearing that line for that laser, because it's the closest and it finds all of these blocks first. So now we're getting power down here, but all of it is being sent up to this one first. So I've got basically everything maxed out here. It's not keeping up. Got a little surplus down here because there's really nothing in the way. The ablaters are just going to town. I want to see how long it's going to take for this to chew through. It actually, surprisingly, is pretty fast. It's amazing having all of these systems on here, how fast this can be. I mean, I've already gutted this line right through here, and I've already ablated all of these blocks in here. So these are all ready to be scooped up. There we go. Look at all the blocks getting pulled out of there. It's so fast. Look at that. That is just marvelous how fast that is. The hive just melts. And the ablaters are working on this side. That laser should fire anytime. I think this is the line here. All those ablaters are going to town. I just need the liquefiers. There we go. Now a lot of them are focusing on this end of things over here. But all of those should get scooped up pretty fast. I just love... Once you get the power and once you get the kind of the system, I do have a little bit of an issue up here. I'm going to need a sort of pilot system like this up here a ways and in. So it's going to have to be in a little bit, but should be good. All right, the liquefiers are doing their magic, slowly melting away this block. I'm really anxious to see. So that is full, which is what we want. I'm not sure how many blocks this is going to release once it triggers. So this is kind of a test system on whether or not this is good enough for feeding the hive. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, we've got this little bit right here and probably this one here. Oh, look at them all. They just disappeared. And there it is. Did I count right? I did. And there goes the blocks. And it should immediately start growing. Let's see how many it does before it gets blocked again. I put it pretty close, so it should block it. Eventually, there it goes. It blocked it. And this is using all of its power. Wow, that had a lot. I'm glad I didn't put a lens in these. Otherwise, that would have been a ton of power. So it's going to... This will tell me exactly how many it's sent through. I normally feed it... When I was feeding it, I normally would feed it about 600 blocks. So I think this is quite a bit less. Okay, this is out of power, I think. For some reason there's still 64 power in there, and it's not actually shooting down. I'm not sure about that. I set it to fire constantly. So let's see. So this is out. And we've got a pretty decent amount of growth. Nothing too extreme. And now we just sit and wait. Now, an interesting thing that could happen is it could just randomly take out that row of blocks, and that laser would fire through and it would start growing again. But I don't think it would last very long. I think it would get plugged pretty quickly because it's still growing a little. Yeah, it's still expanding. But yeah, now the hive feeding process has been automated. We've got plenty of power coming down here. We may, have a power limitation, but again, if the power starts running dry, that means this process will slow down and it won't trigger this nearly as often. So it will balance out. You just need to make sure that your trigger for the hive is close enough for it to get blocked early enough. Because if I put something like that, like way over here, and fired it this way to get blocked, this hive would be enormous by the time it actually stopped. So we want to make sure that we don't grow it too big too fast. But that is your basic auto hive feeding system, and it will just go until that ore vein is out, and then all you need to do is dig in a little bit more, find another vein, hook it up, get the power, and put a few more tubes in there, and you're good to go. There's really nothing else to it than that, and I don't really need any materials. There is a tin vein in there somewhere down there, a 64 million tin vein. However, I scanned it and my game froze, so I'm not going to scan it again and show you because I really don't want my game to freeze. So hive automation has been done, which is so good. And I'm seriously wondering how much more iron I've got. Just a crazy amount of iron. Whoa. So I have a few organic parts I can drop off. I don't know what I just Yeah, every time I load the game, I get the same material. It's really weird. And rough-hewn rock can go in there. So I've got massive storage hoppers if I've got about 600 of something. No, 2, 4, 6, 1200 of something. I've got these regular hoppers that I can dump just smaller stacks into because these will share inventory of garbage. So I put everything in this one and all 3 of them are running. And then if I have a massive amount of stuff, like I had all that cold cavern stone, that's what this guy is for. I can dump a ton in there and it will distribute it all through here and give me lots of bars. Not that I need them, but it's always fun to put them to use when you don't. One thing I'm going to need a lot of here is construction paste. I need so much construction paste. And believe it or not, we've mined just about half of this coal seam right here. All that construction paste. I've got almost 30,000 of it now, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a whole lot. So I would like to head back down to the cold caverns now that I'm all charged up. Everything is good to go. The hive is now, and the hive is hooked up with the CPH. So I've got the CPH through this laser here. This laser here goes over to here and hooks up to this battery, which goes to the feeding. And then it goes over to here with the cargo lifts and the gold to make sure this stays loaded as well. The only thing that doesn't stay loaded, or doesn't load if I'm down in the cold caverns, is the spider bot base. It doesn't have a laser to it. So if I'm down in the cold caverns when I load the game, it tells me to build a spider bot base until I come up to the surface. But that'll have to do it for this episode. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.